Have you ever wondered, why are there women who, even if they only pass briefly through a man's life, leave an indelible mark he can never forget? Why do certain glances, a smile, or an indescribable feeling linger in his mind, even after years have passed? According to Carl Jung, within every man exists a feminine archetype called the anima. This is the unconscious feminine part of him, the part that connects him to emotions, intuition, and the world of inner imagery. When a woman embodies deeply feminine archetypal qualities, she awakens the anima within him and initiates a journey of spiritual transformation far beyond mere attraction. And that is the power of the archetypal feminine, elusive, hard to name, but when it appears, it stirs an unconscious depth no man can ignore. So, what are these mysterious yet immensely powerful feminine qualities? In today's video, we will explore 10 feminine states viewed through the lens of Carl Jung that make him dream of you forever, not because you are a lover, but because you become a symbol of his soul. Stay until the end, because the 8th truth will not only make him obsess over you for a lifetime, but also hold the key to unlocking the hidden potential long buried within you. Number 1. Silent but profound presence. Some women enter a room without saying a word, yet the space pauses for a moment. They are not overtly captivating, not ostentatious, not vying for attention, but their presence is like a quiet depth that draws you in, like standing before a still lake and suddenly wanting to peer down to see who you truly are. Carl Jung called such expressions the awakening of the mystic, a feminine archetype that operates not through logic or words, but through an invisible emotional field. Such a woman doesn't need to do much. Her quiet, profound energy compels others to pause, to reflect, and sometimes to confront themselves. Your silence is not empty. It is a space that allows others to return to themselves. In psychology, this relates to the phenomenon of emotional mirroring, where you become an inner mirror where others see themselves reflected. What's remarkable is that a man, when in the presence of a woman with such energy, feels permitted to drop his guard. He is neither pushed away nor pulled in. He is simply allowed to be. In a world that is always noisy and hurried, the quieter you are, the more others can hear themselves. Consider this. Men are not short of people to talk to, but they rarely find someone who makes them want to listen to themselves. If you are the woman who can evoke that feeling, you don't need to chase anyone. They will find their way back to you. Your presence activates a part of his anima, the repressed, forgotten feminine part that knows how to be instead of always fleeing. When near such a woman, a man doesn't need to prove anything. For a mind accustomed to living in constant battle, this is a rare and healing experience, so addictive it lingers. In the collective unconscious, the image of a silent yet profound woman is often tied to mystical figures, the priestess, the sage, the goddess of the deep forest, or the spiritual mother. She doesn't bring dramatic highs, but offers a deep, steady calm, something the modern man, in an increasingly chaotic society, unconsciously craves. And the irony is, such women often don't realize their allure. But that's precisely why a man, once he has felt it, will dream of her forever, because she makes him want to return to his inner world. Number 2, listening like a mirror. Building on the silent, profound presence is a feminine quality that seems simple but is incredibly rare in this noisy world. The ability to listen like a mirror. If your presence makes a man want to pause, Your listening makes him begin to open up. Not everyone who listens creates transformation. Some listen to argue, others to pivot to their own stories. But a woman embodying the archetype of the reflector listens in an entirely different way. She neither absorbs nor resists. According to Jung, one of humanity's deepest needs is not to be answered, but to be seen. When you listen with full presence, without interrupting or judging, you give someone something they may have never received in their lifetime, the feeling that they are real. For instance, imagine sitting with a man who has just experienced loss. He talks, his heart full of contradictions. He laughs to hide his sorrow, jokes to mask his emptiness. But instead of trying to make him feel better, you look into his eyes and say, "You don't have to be strong." Not with pity, but with truth, because you see him more clearly than he sees himself. In that moment, you're no longer just a conversational partner. You are a mirror of his soul. Jung said that a woman is not merely an object in a man's eyes, but a symbol of his potential for inner growth. A woman who listens with her heart awakens that potential, not through advice or solutions, but through her emotionally rich silence. This energy is akin to the archetype of the mother, not the indulgent mother, but the mother of the soul. She doesn't need to teach anything. She simply is there, present, seeing and accepting. This mirroring doesn't make a man feel small or judged, but allows him to realize, perhaps he doesn't need to become someone else to be worthy. Unlike the allure of physical beauty or intellectual charm, listening like a mirror cannot be faked. It requires you to have sat quietly with yourself, to have listened to your inner voice without running away, to have touched your truth without rushing to fix it. When you achieve this, your listening becomes a living therapy for others. No therapy room or specialized knowledge is needed, just a heart steady enough to do nothing but see the other person for who they are. So, what do you think is harder? Listening to yourself or truly listening to someone else? Share your thoughts below. Perhaps your answer will be a mirror that illuminates someone else. Number 3, the courage to live authentically. If a silent presence makes a man want to pause and listening like a mirror helps him open up, what keeps him from leaving is your ability to live authentically. A woman who lives authentically is not always perfect, flawless, perpetually gentle, or in control of her emotions. On the contrary, she may cry when hurt, laugh when happy, rage when wounded, and stay silent when she needs to preserve her soul's integrity. She doesn't hide her darkness or exaggerate her light. She exists as a whole human being, light and shadow coexisting. Carl Jung believed that true maturity comes only when we dare to face and integrate our shadow. This means no longer fleeing from weakness, jealousy, insecurity, or primal desires. You look at them directly, neither denying nor whitewashing them, nor letting them fully control you. When a woman dares to live authentically with all these fragments, she becomes rare and powerful, for she has undertaken a journey many fear, befriending her darkness. A man, when near such a woman, feels an unusual sense of relief. He no longer has to play the invincible hero, because in her presence, weakness is allowed to exist. Instead of straining to perform, he is encouraged to be more authentic with himself. And that's when the connection ceases to be based on social roles and becomes rooted in raw honesty. When a woman admits, "Sometimes I feel jealous and that scares me," but I choose to be honest with this feeling instead of pretending it's not there. That confession doesn't diminish her. On the contrary, it makes her deeper and stronger. A man hearing this might be startled, as he's used to hiding his imperfections. But witnessing her courage forces him to look within, and sometimes, for the first time, he dares to admit, "I have my darkness too." Living authentically doesn't mean living instinctively without awareness. It's a blend of wisdom and sincerity, of seeing yourself clearly and daring to let others see you as you are. When you do this, you become a rare mirror that helps a man realize he too has the right to be honest. And once you've touched that layer of his soul, even as time sweeps everything away, your image will haunt him as an unforgettable symbol, the symbol of truth. Number 4. Undefended vulnerability. Yet, living authentically is not enough. For a connection to be complete, you need a quality that seems fragile but holds transformative power: undefended vulnerability. This is one of the deepest and most paradoxical qualities. For in a world that teaches us to be strong, vulnerability becomes the greatest strength. Undefended vulnerability is not weakness, but the conscious choice to allow yourself to be wounded. It's like stepping into a room without armor, accepting that you might be touched or hurt, but also knowing that this is how true connection happens. Jung emphasized that healing comes only when we dare to face our wounds, and sometimes letting others see those wounds is the greatest gift you can give. Pause here, close your eyes, and recall. When was the last time you allowed yourself to be vulnerable? Sometimes it's in those seemingly small moments that we touch true connection. Imagine an ordinary evening. You and he are sitting together, but the conversation feels disjointed. He lingers on his phone longer than usual, and you feel a strange emptiness in your chest. Instead of pretending nothing's wrong or acting aloof to stay in control, you gently place your hand on his arm and say, "When you were quiet earlier, I felt a bit distant. It worries me, maybe because I care about you more than I realized." That statement isn't blame or pleading, it's simply a fragile truth laid bare. And in that moment, the man doesn't hear a complaint. He hears the real beat of your heart. It forces him to be more honest with himself. Maybe I'm afraid of losing her too. From Jung's perspective, this is how you awaken the archetype of the wounded woman. You don't use your wounds as a weapon or hide them. You let them show as part of your journey of existence. This makes a man realize beauty lies not in being unbroken, but in daring to let him see your cracks. And strangely, it's through those cracks that light shines in. This can be likened to the Japanese art of kintsugi, where broken pottery is mended with gold, becoming unique and more precious than anything perfectly intact. A woman who dares to be vulnerable is like that. She doesn't hide the cracks in her soul, but transforms them into places where light and truth can shine. A man, seeing this, is not only drawn to her, but compelled to face his cracks. Undefended vulnerability is hard to achieve, as it requires letting go of two things society often teaches women to hold on to: control and defense. But when you dare to live this way, you become a rare symbol of primal femininity, fragility imbued with strength. And that is what makes a man, once he has experienced it, never forget you. Number 5. Intuitive wisdom. If an undefended vulnerability opens the door to the heart, Intuitive wisdom is the torch that lights the path through the darkness. A woman with profound intuition doesn't need to know all the answers, but she can sense what lies hidden behind words, behind a smile, or even behind silences. Carl Jung considered intuition one of the 4 fundamental functions of the psyche, and within the anima archetype, feminine intuition serves as a bridge connecting a person to the unconscious world. When a man encounters a woman with powerful intuitive wisdom, he is often shaken in a way he cannot fully explain. She knows things he hasn't yet voiced, and sometimes even things he is trying to hide from himself. Picture an ordinary moment. He comes home after a long day, his face forcing a smile. When asked, "How was your day?" he replies, "It was fine." A woman who listens only with her ears would stop at that answer. But a woman with intuition senses the heaviness in his shoulders, the avoidance in his eyes, the slower than usual rhythm of his breath. She doesn't interrogate or push. Instead, she gently places her hand on his and says, "You seem more tired than you're letting on. Is there something you'd like to share?" That seemingly simple statement carries immense power, for it makes him feel seen at a depth he had just denied. Feminine intuition is not like logic. If logic is a bright lamp illuminating every detail, intuition is the soft glow of moonlight, guiding the way through a deep forest. It doesn't reveal everything, but it's enough to show the path. When a man is guided by this moonlight, he begins to trust enough to venture into the dark forests of his soul. In that companionship, he finds something rare, the feeling of being led without being controlled. In the collective unconscious, the image of the intuitive woman is often tied to the archetype of the intuitive muse, a muse who not only sparks creativity, but leads the soul into uncharted territories. She doesn't need to explain how she knows or prove it with reasoning. Her presence itself is proof. Some things can only be felt, not analyzed. What's remarkable is that true intuition is not about reading others like a parlor trick, but the fruit of a deep connection with oneself. The more a woman is attuned to the subtlest vibrations within her heart, the more she hears the whispers of her unconscious, the sharper her intuition becomes. From there, she can see through the masks others wear, not to expose them, but to offer them gentle understanding. Deep down, men crave this more than they dare admit. Not admiration for rational intellect, but the feeling of being seen by eyes that know without needing words. Once they experience it, they realize logic can be debated, but intuition touches truth directly. And that truth, delivered with a feminine touch, doesn't make them defensive. It makes them want to open up more. If you too feel the quiet flame of intuition burning within you and want to continue unraveling the mysteries Jung left behind, hit like and subscribe. Each step in this journey could be the missing piece you've been seeking for your soul. And when that silent understanding has opened the door to the inner world, what keeps him from leaving is the invisible allure you exude, not loud, not imposing, but lingering in his mind like the echo of an unforgettable melody. Subtle allure. Number 6. Subtle allure. Allure here is not about flamboyant gestures, power games, or outward beauty. It's an undercurrent of energy, like a faint fragrance you can't see but clings to memory, or like distant music from a closed room that compels you to draw closer to listen. Subtle allure doesn't overwhelm, it seeps in. It doesn't explode, it permeates. Carl Jung saw allure as an aspect of libido, not just sexual desire, but the energy of life, the flow of vitality that radiates through a person. When a woman embodies this flow with grace and ease, she awakens in a man not only physical desire, but a deeper yearning to live. He doesn't just want to be near her. He wants to feel alive in her presence. Imagine a small moment. You're sitting in a cafe with friends. You're not the loudest talker or the most strikingly dressed, but the way you touch your coffee cup, the way you tilt your head to listen, the way a smile flickers briefly in your eyes, all of it creates something indescribable. The man at the next table can't explain why his gaze keeps drifting toward you. That subtlety sets you apart, alluring without trying, captivating without displaying. In the collective unconscious, this is the archetype of the lover, not the explosive lover, but the one who keeps the flame burning quietly. She doesn't consume, nor does she ever fully fade. Her presence makes a man feel both safe and strangely unsettled, as if there's a secret he needs to uncover. That sense of never enough is what makes him remember her forever. The magic of subtle allure lies in its focus, not on the body, but on the energy you radiate from your inner vitality. A woman who loves herself, who savors life's small joys, who relishes her presence, naturally exudes this allure. She doesn't need many words, for her body, her eyes, and her aura whisper for her, "I am alive, and I live fully." Jung said that what men truly seek in women is the anima, the feminine part that connects them to the vitality within themselves. When you embody subtle allure, you're not just someone he wants to touch. You become a mirror, reflecting the life he longs to feel more deeply within himself. That's why, even when you're gone, the memory of you doesn't fade like fleeting desires, but burns quietly in him like a lamp that never goes out. Subtle allure cannot be memorized or faked. It arises from harmony with your primal essence. When you allow yourself to be fully present, neither lacking nor excessive, you become an unforgettable melody in the mind of any man who crosses your path. And like that melody, he will hear you even when the room falls silent. Number 7. Transcendent humor. After all the depths of presence, listening, authenticity, vulnerability, and subtle allure, there is a quality that seems light, but is rare and powerfully liberating: transcendent humor. This isn't cheap, attention-grabbing humor, but the ability to see life with eyes both deep and light, laughing at the paradoxes others face with only tension. A woman with this quality is like a cool breeze on a sweltering day. She not only brings ease, but reminds others that life doesn't always need to be taken so seriously. In Jungian psychology, transcendent humor is tied to the archetype of the trickster, the sacred mischief maker. This playful optimist exists to remind us that the solemn walls we build are illusions. A woman with this energy doesn't fight the darkness, nor does she let it consume her. Consider a familiar scenario. He tells you about a work failure, his eyes heavy, his voice tinged with bitterness. Instead of rushing to comfort or advise, you smile and say, "Maybe this failure is the universe telling you to cut back on coffee to ease the stress." That half-joking, half-true comment lightens the heavy atmosphere, and he laughs, his first laugh in days. In that moment, you don't deny his pain. You open a small window for him to breathe, reminding him that life isn't just burdens. Transcendent humor is more than wit. It's a sign of a soul that has walked through darkness and is no longer controlled by it. Only those who have touched their deep truth can laugh without escaping, jest without denying, and be light while still profound. For a man, this is both captivating and liberating, as he too seeks to break free from the invisible shackles of ego, duty, and the seriousness society places on his shoulders. Transcendent humor is like the magic of a playful soul. It allows a man to be a child again, not a naive child, but one who dares to play even knowing life's imperfections. A woman with this quality doesn't just make a man dream of her. She makes him want to live lighter, truer, freer. In the collective unconscious, she is the figure of the guide who leads with a smile, like Puck in Western mythology or the sacred clowns of many cultures. They don't just amuse, they shatter illusions to reveal life's true nature, both tragic and humorous, both serious and light. A man will never forget the woman who makes him laugh when he thought he couldn't. That laughter is not just a sound, but a profound reminder. You don't have to strain so hard. Even in failure we can laugh. That's the invisible allure of transcendent humor. It doesn't hold with force, but liberates with ease. Such a woman doesn't leave a mark with perfection, but with the memory that, in his weakest moment, she taught him how to laugh. And that memory will forever be the sweetest dream he doesn't want to wake from. Take a moment here to breathe slowly, feeling the lightness spread through every cell, as if that smile is right beside you now. But a smile, no matter how precious, cannot erase the shadows in the soul. There are wounds, silent darknesses that gnaw quietly, which only a woman with enough courage can walk alongside. And here emerges another feminine quality, both haunting and powerful: the ability to step into the darkness. Number 8. The ability to step into the darkness. In Jungian psychology, the shadow is not a demon or something evil, but the hidden part of the soul, buried emotions, wounds we dare not face, and desires never acknowledged. This shadow doesn't vanish just because we ignore it. On the contrary, it grows stronger, manipulating our lives when we remain unaware of it. A woman who can step into the darkness doesn't flee or deny it, but dares to confront it within herself, becoming a rare beacon, guiding a man through his dark realms. Imagine you've gone through a major upheaval, loss, heartbreak, or days submerged in loneliness. Instead of hastily painting on a smile to pretend you're fine, you've allowed yourself to feel the pain, to fall, and from that darkness, you've found a piece of truth. When you emerge, you're not carefree, but a soul that has traversed a long night and knows how to survive. A man, encountering this energy, immediately senses you're different. You're not afraid of his pain because you've sat with your own. And because of that, he feels safe to admit what he's always kept hidden. Such a woman is like a candle in a sealed room. Its light doesn't banish all darkness, but its presence makes the shadows less frightening. Instead of panicking when he falters, you might say, "I understand, because I've been there too." Just one sentence, but it's enough to draw him closer, for the first time making the darkness within him not something shameful, but something that can be shared. In the collective unconscious, this is the archetype of the dark goddess. Figures like Persephone, who descends into the underworld and returns, or Hecate, standing at the crossroads, symbolize the ability to walk alongside both life and death, light and shadow. A woman with this energy doesn't make a man dream of her in a pleasant romantic way, but in a profound, weighty one. He dreams because he knows only she dares to walk with him through his inner hell. A simple yet poignant example. Some men, when they lose their career, love, or purpose, fall into a void of meaninglessness. Most people avoid that heaviness, trying to offer advice or distractions. But you, if you've walked through your emptiness, won't fear sitting beside him in silence, not rushing to save him. You know the darkness isn't something to erase, but a path he must traverse to find himself. And there, your presence becomes an invisible compass. A man may be captivated by many types of women, but the one he dreams of forever in his depths is the one who held his hand through the darkest alleys, showing him that the night can also be the beginning of dawn. Number 9. Connection to nature and the cosmic rhythm. After daring to walk with a man through the deepest shadows of his soul, another quality makes you unforgettable, a connection to nature and the cosmic rhythm. If stepping into the darkness gives him safety to face his pain, this connection offers him a sense of touching the eternal, a life force beyond the fluctuations of daily existence. Such a woman doesn't need complex philosophies to prove her depth, for her presence radiates a harmonious rhythm as if guided by an invisible cosmic flow. A man in her presence doesn't just see an individual, but a doorway to the greater whole, to the vast life he often forgets amid the relentless pace of modern living. You might see this quality in women who treat dawn as a ritual, listen to the rain like music, or root their spirit in simple things: a potted plant, an afternoon walk in the park, a glance at the full moon. This natural connection creates a strange energy field. A man beside you instinctively breathes slower, his chest feels lighter, his heart less noisy. Not because you do anything extraordinary, but because you live in the inherent rhythm of life. Think of Galadriel in The Lord of the Rings. Without wielding a sword, she commands awe and reverence from the most powerful men, simply by radiating an ancient light, the light of earth, sky, and deep forests, a rhythm beyond humanity. A woman connected to nature carries this light, even if only in how she tends a small garden or smiles at a sparrow on a balcony. It's not distant mysticism, but a familiar one, so familiar that others forget it's there. Imagine this. If you stood in a forest after rain, breathing in the damp earth and listening to the rustle of leaves, wouldn't you feel your soul loosen, returning to a rhythm that has always flowed within you? In psychological terms, the more modern humans drift from nature, the more disconnected they become from themselves. A woman who lives in harmony with nature becomes a living reminder of balance. She doesn't need to say, "Slow down," but by witnessing how she lives, a man craves it. Beside her, he feels like he's returning, not just to her, but to life itself. What's miraculous is that this connection opens a spiritual dimension. A man won't see you merely as a lover or companion, but as a bridge to the universe's pulse. That transcends ordinary desire. A man may be enchanted by beauty or long for tenderness, but when a woman touches the eternal within him, she becomes a symbol he can never erase. The allure of a woman connected to nature isn't possessive, but liberating. She makes a man realize he's not the universe's center, but part of a vast flow. Paradoxically, in feeling small within that world, he sees her as immensely grand, so grand that her memory becomes immortal. Number 10. The silence of the unknown. After granting him the peace of nature and the eternal rhythm, one final quality creates an immortal allure, the silence of the unknown. This isn't cold or empty silence, but a mystical one, a quality that keeps a part of you unnameable, leaving a man forever unable to reach your entirety. Carl Jung said that deep within every man lies the anima, a feminine aspect both alluring and mysterious, both intimate and elusive. The silence of the unknown makes a woman the clearest embodiment of this image. A man may understand you, be near you, share countless moments with you, but there remains a spiritual space he can never fully enter. That space becomes the source of endless dreaming. You see this quality in cultural figures like the Mona Lisa, with her eternal, inexplicable smile, or in cinema, like Amelia in Interstellar, a woman with unwavering love, yet holding a mystery even science cannot unravel. This silence creates haunting beauty. She's remembered not for explaining everything, but for leaving a question without an answer. In real life, the silence of the unknown isn't a game of concealment or psychological tactic. It comes from a woman who knows she is a universe too vast to fully reveal. She shares, loves, and opens herself, but keeps a spiritual space only she can enter. This doesn't make a man feel distant. Rather, it ignites a longing to explore forever. Like a mist-covered mountain, the closer he gets, the more he wants to know what lies beyond the fog. This silence also has liberating power. It allows a man to realize he doesn't need to control, cannot possess, and will never fully grasp a soul. Instead of discouraging him, this brings relief, for he can finally admit, some things in life are meant to remain mysteries, and in that mystery, he always sees you. When a man dreams of you forever, it's not because you've given him every answer, but because you are the unending question in his mind. That dream isn't meant to be grasped, but to be dreamed onward. That is the ultimate power of the silence of the unknown. It transforms you from a person into an eternal symbol in his soul. In closing this exploration of the 10 feminine qualities through Carl Jung's lens, you may have realized one thing. What makes a man dream of a woman forever lies not in tactics, skills, or surface seduction. It lies in how you exist as a vibrant, authentic, and mysterious soul, both individual and touching the collective depths Jung called the unconscious. A woman may be beautiful, intelligent, or successful, but timeless allure emerges when she lives in harmony with her archetypal essence. In doing so, she becomes not just a specific person, but a doorway for a man to touch the forgotten parts of himself, the anima, the part that connects him to beauty, darkness, dreams, and liberation. And paradoxically, when you stop trying to be someone, you become someone no one can forget. That allure lies not in controlling, but in allowing yourself to be an unfolding mystery. Like a beautiful piece of music, it's not just the melody, but the lingering echo that remains, even when the notes have faded. Have you ever felt within yourself a silent strength, difficult to name, yet powerful enough to transform the way you walk through this world? Have you ever noticed that sometimes, simply by saying no, you sever an invisible chain that once held you back? There are unseen forces that flow through a woman like underground rivers beneath thick ice, quiet but mighty, reshaping reality itself. These forces do not belong to those who merely speak of freedom. They belong to those who have stopped seeking permission to exist, who have ceased justifying their presence. This is the mark of a soul that has passed through trials and chosen authenticity over compliance. Carl Jung called this the process of individuation, the journey back to the deepest self. For women, this often means letting go of the illusion that they must always be gentle, always carry the burdens, always apologize for taking up space in this world. These forces cannot be learned from books or honed through technique. They emerge only when the soul has been reshaped by truth rather than comfort. And in today's video, we will explore 10 invisible forces that exist only in women with free souls. Not because they strive to be different, but because they have dared to shed illusions, step out of the cages others have built, and return to their truest essence. Before we begin, I'd love to know where you're joining us from. Feel free to share your thoughts and ask any questions in the comments below. And don't forget to like and subscribe to join us on these deep dives into the unconscious archetypes and the journey of individuation in the spirit of Jung. Number 1. The ability to sever without farewell. There is a strange power that emerges only in women who have reached the limits of endurance and chosen to return to themselves. The ability to sever ties without explanation, without proclamation, without needing validation from anyone. This is not a loud rebellion or impulsive reaction. It is like an invisible snip, gentle yet resolute, cutting the cords that have quietly drained their energy for years. Carl Jung called this the dissolution of complexes, unconscious patterns that repeat, trapping us in cycles of old pain. When a woman reaches a certain level of awareness, she can discern which connections are sustained by love and which are merely an addiction to wounds. Picture a garden long neglected. Some vines appear lush, but are, in truth, strangling the tree, stealing its light and nourishment. A wise gardener does not hesitate to cut them away, knowing that only then can the tree thrive. A woman with a free soul does the same. She severs relationships, habits, or commitments that once held meaning, but now weigh her down. No fanfare, no justification, just a silent departure. In reality, you might see this in a mother who, after years of being immersed in her children's emotional chaos, stops carrying their burdens, stops putting out fires on their behalf, and quietly hands responsibility back to them. Or in a woman who leaves a stable job she once clung to, not out of anger, but because it has become a gilded cage stifling her creativity. It might even be as simple as no longer answering demanding phone calls or showing up at gatherings where her presence is taken for granted. From a psychological perspective, this is the power of discerning resonance. Such a woman needs no rationalized reason. Her body and intuition have become her compass. When a relationship weighs heavily on her heart, when an environment shortens her breath, she knows it is time to let go. Jung emphasized that a mature individual can detach from unconscious attachments, for otherwise, they will continue to replay unconscious tragedies. What makes this ability mysterious is that it is often misunderstood by others. To those accustomed to her unconditional endurance, her silent withdrawal may be labeled as cold or selfish. In truth, it is the highest act of loyalty to her essence. It does not oppose anyone. It opposes only the squandering of life's energy. Severing is not a rejection of love, but an acknowledgement that love no longer nourishes where it once did. It must be stressed. This ability cannot be feigned. It does not stem from momentary anger or hurt, but arises only after a woman has gone through enough experiences, enough silence, to recognize which connections nurture her soul and which merely collude with the past. In the silence of this act, there is a strange beauty, like a secret ancestral ritual, where a woman knows exactly when to hold on and when to walk away. This strength is not loud, but those who witness it will never forget it. For it is a rare moment when we see a human living fully in awareness, rather than in fear. Number 2, standing firm amid the storm of emotions. If the ability to sever silently is the first step in breaking free from invisible chains, the next strength is the capacity to stand firm amid a storm of emotions, a state Jung might describe as the mark of a soul that has learned to hold its center. This is when a woman no longer dissolves into the chaos of others, no longer lets the collective tide of emotions sweep her away like a leaf in a storm. In everyday life, this manifests clearly. When a family falls into crisis, instead of becoming the epicenter of tension, she is quietly present without being swept into the whirlwind. When colleagues are consumed by anxiety, she does not absorb their unease into her body. When a loved one erupts in anger, she does not respond with anger, but maintains a space wide enough to observe, to understand, without losing her inner peace. Carl Jung spoke of the transcendent function, the human capacity to hold and reconcile opposing tensions rather than reacting unconsciously to dispel them. A woman with a free soul has cultivated this ability. She does not rush to extinguish the fire, nor does she let it consume her. She has learned that not every unrest needs immediate fixing, and not every storm requires control. Sometimes, simply sitting still in the eye of the storm allows it to pass, and clarity emerges on its own. Imagine an ancient tree in a tempest. The wind howls, the rain pours, but its roots dig deep into the earth, keeping it unshaken. A woman with a free soul is like this. Chaos may rage around her, but within, she has rooted herself in awareness. Others may waver, but she is no longer easily swayed. This steadfastness makes her an invisible anchor for those around her, though she does not try to be anyone's savior. You will recognize this strength in a woman who does not panic under criticism, does not scramble to explain herself when misunderstood, and does not rush to patch relationship cracks with exhausting appeasement. Instead, she listens, observes, and allows others to experience their emotions while maintaining her own stillness. This is not coldness, but a subtle distinction between empathy and absorption. And perhaps this is the moment to ask yourself, have you ever held your peace amid life's storms? How did that moment change you? Share in the comments to listen more clearly to your soul's voice. To many, this steadfastness may seem perplexing, even unsettling. Society is accustomed to women being soft, conciliatory, burden-bearing. Yet in this calm lies a mysterious power. It does not foster dependence, but forces others to confront their own emotions. And that, ultimately, is the greatest gift she offers the world. A presence unabsorbed, a safe space where others can face themselves. Standing firm amid emotional storms is not a withdrawal from life, but the highest form of participation. She engages with reality, not through panic, but through clarity. And in that presence, she becomes a living testament to Jung's words. The sole purpose of human existence is to kindle a light in the darkness of mere being. Number 3. Truth without a mask. The next force emerges like dawn after a storm, a light that reveals all that was once concealed. This is the power of unmasked truth. When a woman steps into life with her true face, no longer needing a disguise to be accepted. Picture a river frozen through winter. The thick ice on its surface makes it seem as though the river has died, reduced to a lifeless, cold mass. But deep beneath, the water still flows, patiently seeking its path. Then one day, the ice cracks, breaks apart, and the river reveals the vibrant life that never ceased. A woman with a free soul is like this. When the persona, the social mask, is removed, her truth flows forth, not loudly, not with justification, but simply returning to its primal rhythm. Unmasked truth is not defiance or rebellion. It is a natural state that comes after a woman has faced the fear of being hated, judged or rejected, and realized that these things do not destroy her. In fact, they liberate her from the pressure to live for others. In real life, this might appear in a woman who dares to say, "I don't want to be the mother society expects. I want to raise my children my own way." Or in a woman who admits, "I no longer love this job, and I refuse to keep playing the devoted role for praise." The key is this: when she speaks this truth, it is not colored by defensiveness or aggression. It is simple, direct, like a river flowing true. Her truth no longer needs to be cushioned with apologies or softened to be palatable. She knows a truth diluted to please others is no longer truth. Jung emphasized that individuation requires the collapse of the persona, for only when the mask falls can we confront our true soul. This is why this strength often unsettles, even irritates those around her. They are accustomed to a gentle, agreeable, compliant version of her. When the mask is gone, the truth stands bare, forcing others to see what they never wished to, a woman no longer defined by compliance. Lady Gaga is one prominent individual who has openly discussed how her persona, Gaga, is a distinct entity from her inner essence. In a conversation with Jamie Lee Curtis for the Actors on Actors series, Gaga shared, "What I am as Gaga really is what other people think Gaga is. It's not necessarily what I am." She acknowledged that Gaga was the name she earned at the height of her creativity in New York, with music, art, and daily life. But it became what others saw and expected, not entirely what she felt within. In an interview with Zane Lowe about her new album, Gaga elaborated on returning to authentic artistry. "I put so much of myself as a musician, as a producer, as a songwriter into everything. I always want to be remembered for being a real artist and someone that cares so much about a life of art." She admitted that her visual costumes and elaborate performances were sometimes remembered more than her music. But with this album, she aimed for her true self, not just the icon or image. Lady Gaga's story vividly illustrates what Jung asserted: the persona is necessary to navigate society, but at some point, if not shed, it becomes a prison confining the soul. When a woman dares to appear with her true face, she becomes a symbol of courage and liberation, not only for herself, but for those languishing behind their own masks. Number 4. Refined intuitive wisdom. After shedding the social mask and daring to live with unadorned truth, another door opens: intuition. No longer distorted by expectations or illusions, the intuition of a woman with a free soul becomes as sharp as a stream filtered through countless layers of stone. This is not a vague premonition, nor is it impulsiveness. It is an invisible wisdom, refined to the point of distinguishing between the voice of fear and the whisper of the soul. Jung regarded intuition as one of the 4 fundamental psychological functions, alongside thinking, feeling, and sensation. Unlike the other three, intuition does not rely on logic, evidence, or sensory experience. It is like a lighthouse beaming from within, illuminating paths that reason has yet to name. When a woman has journeyed through individuation, her intuition becomes a secret compass, guiding her through situations where ordinary maps prove useless. In reality, you might see this in women who leave a seemingly perfect relationship on paper, simply because, deep within, their body says no. Or in those who pivot their career at the height of success, guided only by an inner whisper that the path has ended. Years later, others realize that the seemingly irrational decision opened exactly the door that needed to be opened. From Jung's perspective, this refined intuition is a profound connection to the personal and collective unconscious. It is not magic, but the result of clearing away distortions, prejudices, fears, and desires to hear the pure flow of the soul. When a woman reaches this state, her decisions are no longer choices between A and B, but a form of knowing, a certainty that requires no proof. What makes this power mysterious is its simplicity and manifestation. It is not tied to dramatic moments, but often appears in quiet, unexpected decisions that later prove wise. Outsiders may call her reckless, but in truth, she is following a map invisible to the naked eye. And when intuition becomes her familiar language, she lives with a gentle confidence, not because she knows all the answers, but because she trusts she will receive guidance when needed. Here, if you've ever trusted a decision born of intuition, leave a symbol of your choice or the number 4 in the comments as a marker of your own journey. This refined intuition is a sign that a woman has connected to a wisdom beyond the personal. Jung once wrote, "The unconscious is the unwritten history of mankind from time unrecorded. By listening to her intuition, she is, in essence, tapping into a reservoir of memory and experience beyond herself, touching the flow of humanity's collective knowledge." Number 5. Letting go as a sacred act. If refined intuition is the lighthouse guiding through life's twists, the next strength is the willingness to let go, an act that seems like loss, but is, in fact, a gateway to freedom. Jung once said, "There is no growth without sacrifice." In the journey of individuation, letting go is not defeat, but a sacred ritual, where the old is returned to the past, making way for the new to be born. This manifests in quiet yet powerful moments in life. A woman chooses to leave a decades-long marriage, not for lack of love, but because love has fulfilled its role. Or a female entrepreneur shuts down the company she built, recognizing that its success has become a gilded cage stifling her creativity. It might even be a mother who stops intervening in her grown children's every decision, accepting that they must learn from their own consequences. From Jung's perspective, letting go is the sacrifice of the ego, the part that clings to the familiar for safety. But the soul operates on a different logic. It yearns for growth, and growth only occurs when we dare to release what has completed its purpose. Jung called this the necessary sacrifice for the process of individuation. What makes letting go sacred is that it is neither escape nor surrender, but a higher form of knowledge of cycles. A woman with a free soul is like a masterful gardener, knowing when a tree has borne all its fruit, when a branch needs pruning, when the soil needs rest. She does not cling to summer when winter arrives, for she understands that in the death of one season, lies the seed of the next. A striking example is the singer Adele. After global success with ballads of love and loss, Adele surprised many by publicly stepping away from the image of the woman of sad love songs. In an interview, she shared, "I was just living with the weight of who I was supposed to be.